So, get this. I ran into my old buddy Jake at the grocery store last week. Hadn't seen him in 10 years? We used to be tight back in college, but you know how life goes. Anyway, he seemed super stoked to see me, and we got to talking. Jake was all, "Hey man, we should catch up properly. Why don't you come over for dinner tomorrow?" I figured, why not? Could be fun, right? So I show up at his place the next day. It's this big old house on the edge of town. Kinda creepy, but in a cool way, you know? Jake answers the door with this huge grin, like he's beyond happy to see me. We start chatting, and it's weird. He knows all this stuff about my life that I never told him. Like where I work, my girlfriend's name, even my favorite coffee shop. I'm thinking, dude must have stalked my socials or something. But it's still odd, you know? Dinner's ready, and Jake's made my favorite meal from college. I mean, exactly how I like it. That's when things get real freaky. He starts talking about all these memories we supposedly shared, but I swear they never happened. Like trips we never took, parties we never went to. I'm getting majorly weirded out, but I don't want to be rude. So I just nod and smile, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Then Jake says, "Remember that time we made a blood pact?" And he holds up his hand, showing this scar I definitely don't remember. That's when I notice the pictures on his wall. They're of us, but they're fake. Like, really good photoshops of us in places I've never been. My head's spinning and I'm feeling kinda dizzy. Jake's still talking, but his voice sounds all warped now. He's saying stuff like, "You promised we'd be friends forever, and you can't leave me again." I realize I gotta get out of there fast. I make some lame excuse about feeling sick and bolt for the door. As I'm leaving, Jake calls out, "See you tomorrow, buddy," in this super cheerful voice that gives me the creeps. I drove home in a panic, checking my rearview mirror the whole way. When I got home, I had a text from Jake. "Great catching up. Can't wait for our fishing trip this weekend." I never agreed to any fishing trip. I'm seriously freaked out now, wondering how long Jake's been living in this made-up world where we never lost touch. And worse, how far he'll go to keep me in it. So, there's this new guy who moved in next door about a month ago. Seemed pretty cool at first, you know? Always waving and smiling when I'd see him outside. He'd even bring in my trash cans sometimes when I forgot. Real neighborly stuff. Anyway, one day he invites me over for a beer. I figure why not? Dude's been nice enough. So I head over and his place is crazy neat. Freakishly clean. But whatever, right? We're chatting, having a few beers, when he starts asking about my job, my schedule, that kind of thing. I didn't think much of it then, just small talk and all. But looking back, it's like he was taking notes in his head or something. A few days later, I notice my spare key is missing from its hiding spot. Weird, but I figured I just misplaced it. Then I start noticing little things in my apartment being slightly off. Like my toothbrush would be in a different spot, or my favorite mug would be in a different cabinet. I'm starting to feel paranoid, you know? But I keep telling myself, I'm just being crazy. Then one night, I wake up and swear I hear someone in my apartment. I grab my phone to call the cops, but it's dead. And I always charge it at night, always. I'm freaking out, but I manage to sneak out to my car. As I'm pulling out of the driveway, I see my neighbor standing in his window, just watching me, with this creepy smile on his face. I drove to a friend's place and called the cops from there. Turns out, the dude had been breaking into my place for weeks. He'd been slowly messing with my stuff, trying to make me doubt myself. The cops found a whole bunch of my personal info at his place, along with some seriously messed up plans. So yeah, now I've got a new place and some trust issues. And I always double-check my locks. Alright, so get this. Me and my buddies, we decided to rent this cabin out in the middle of nowhere. You know, one of those let's get away from it all kind of deals. There were 5 of us, me, Jake, Sarah, Mike, and Liz. We thought it'd be fun, just chilling in the woods for a weekend. So we get there, right? And this place is super old school. No cell service, barely any electricity, but we're cool, we'll rough it. We start unpacking and stuff, cracking open some beers, when Sarah finds this weird note on her pillow. It says, "I know what you did last summer." We all laughed it off, thinking it was Jake being a doofus. But then Jake's all, "Wasn't me, bro. We kind of forgot about it, had some drinks, told some stories around the fireplace. Good times, you know?" But then next morning, Mike finds another note in his shoe. This one saying, "Your secret's safe with me, for now." Now we're getting kind of freaked. Mike's all pale and stuff, won't tell us what it means. We start looking around, thinking maybe the cabin owner's playing a prank or something. But then things get real weird. We keep finding these notes everywhere. Each one's got some dirt on one of us. Stuff we never told anyone. I mean, how'd they know about that time? Never mind. We start fighting, accusing each other. Like, who's the snitch, you know? Sarah's yelling at Liz, Mike's not talking to anyone, and Jake's just sitting there, looking guilty as hell. I'm trying to keep it cool, but man, I'm freaking out inside. It's like we came here as friends, but now everyone's looking at each other like we're gonna get stabbed in the back or something. We decide to leave early, can't take the tension anymore. But when we get to our cars, they won't start. We're stuck here, and the notes keep coming. That night, we're all sitting in the living room, not talking, just staring at each other. And then the lights go out. In the dark, I hear this whisper, right next to my ear. Now the real fun begins. I'm telling ya, I've never been so scared in my life. We made it through the night somehow, but man, those were the longest hours ever. When morning came, we just ran out of there, didn't even pack our stuff. To this day, I don't know who was behind it all. Was it one of us? The cabin owner? Some creepy ghost? All I know is I ain't ever going back to any remote cabin again. And those friends? Yeah, we don't really talk anymore. Funny how one weekend can mess everything up like that. Okay, so check this out. Last month, I had to go on this boring work trip to some small town in the middle of nowhere. I booked a room at this old hotel downtown because it was cheap, you know? When I got there, the place looked kind of run down, but whatever. The guy at the front desk was super weird though. He kept staring at me and smiling, but not in a nice way. More like he knew something I didn't. Anyway, I get to my room, number 237, and it's actually not bad. Bit old-fashioned, but clean. I crash early because I'm beat from the drive. Middle of the night, I wake up needing to pee. I'm stumbling around in the dark, half asleep, when I realize something's off. The bathroom's on the wrong side. I'm thinking, did I get turned around or something? I flip on the lights and holy crap, the whole room is different. The bed's on the other side, the TV's gone, and there's this creepy old rocking chair in the corner that definitely wasn't there before. I'm freaking out, thinking I'm losing it. I grab my phone to call the front desk, but there's no signal. The room phone's dead too. I'm about to go down to the lobby when I notice the room number on the door. 235. Now I'm really confused. I open the door and look down the hall. It's the same hallway, but different. The wallpaper's changed, the carpet's a different color. I walk down to where 237 should be, but the numbers jump from 236 to 238. I go back to 235, my head spinning. Inside, everything's back to normal. My stuff's there, the room looks like it did when I checked in. I'm thinking maybe I just had a weird dream or something. But then I see it. On the nightstand, there's a note that wasn't there before. It says, "Hope you enjoyed your stay in 235. See you again soon." I grab my things and bolt. The guy at the front desk acts like nothing's wrong, keeps smiling that creepy smile. When I ask about room 237, he says they don't have one. Never had. I check out right then at 3 a.m. and drive straight home. I looked up the hotel later, and get this, it was demolished years ago. The website I booked through doesn't exist. I still don't know what happened that night, but sometimes when I'm about to fall asleep, I swear I can hear that old rocking chair creaking. Thanks for joining us in the shadows tonight. If you enjoyed these chilling tales, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories every week. Have you got a story of your own? Share it in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And remember, the darkness holds many secrets. Are you brave enough to uncover them? Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked. Sweet nightmares.